Can't see it for a light.
Ursie's asked me to ask you not to stand on the tables in the ovation at the end of this speech. An introduction is worthwhile. My name is Neil, E ready for another. So if you see me at the bar, come up and say hello, but I insist you use my first name. I'd like to thank Stuart on behalf of the bridesmaids for his kind words. I'd also like to add my own appreciation. I think you'll all agree that it's fantastic today.
Yeah!
I don't know if Fiona wants me to thank them for the help they've provided leading up into the wedding. A toast.
Hey!
Bridesmaids. I'd also like to say how wonderful Fiona looks and what a lucky man Stuart is. He's married a beautiful, intelligent, talented and exceptional woman.
Hey!
You married Stuart. Stuart asked me to be the best man. I took it as a great honour. And since I've been married for almost 12 years, this is the first time I've had to hear the sound of my own voice.
Shame on you!
So on the best man tradition, I'll now do my best to give Stuart the most uncomfortable 5 minutes of his life. Rest assured, unlike most traditional best man speeches, which are full of sexual innuendo, I promise Stuart and Fiona that if there's anything slightly risky, I'll whip it out immediately. Fornication. Such as this, the best man has several duties, and I've come to the conclusion that best man is just a fancy-making nanny. As nanny, I've had to ensure that the groom arrives on time, sober, and looking good. Well, 2 out of 3. I'll eat some water after all, I'm not a bloody plastic surgeon. I was warned about the potentially delicate duty of keeping the ex-girlfriends at bay. Lucky foot and mouth.
I just realised you're
He's enjoying his own jokes.
I'm trying to take my responsibilities very seriously. I'd like to share with you some of the duties that I'm supposed to do. Bring a checkbook or credit card, fund payments, no problem there. I live with credit card at Stag Do, I've been spending his money. Help the groom dress. Thankfully I was nowhere near him when he got dressed. It's not a priest though. Ensure the groom goes to the toilet before the wedding. I think he should be able to manage that on his own. Or Fiona's taken on a lot more than she knows. Dance with the bride and groom and her father. I know if anyone has seen the groom dance, you'll forgive me if I give that one a miss.
Dance is all right with me, don't you, Stu?
Plenty of time. Okay, I'll give you a little rundown of Stuart's life. He was born on 19th of July 1962 and was about the size of a small baby. Hasn't he grown? I'm afraid to say I don't think he was the bonniest baby, because Sadie's morning sickness didn't start till after he was born.
He likes that. You know, but
Unearthed an old report card which read, "Stuart is an ideal pupil who excelled in most subjects. However, on closer inspection, it read, Stuart is an idle pupil who should be expelled from most subjects." His dad tells me he had a choice in the 5th year to have a haircut to go into the 6th or to go into the 6th form. Despite all their hopes, Stuart decided the hippie look was worth clinging to. Went to college to study art. His artistic aspirations were never realised. Later on, Stuart and I decided to set out and see the world. After making the mistake of starting in Amsterdam, we bought a couple of bikes in the flea market with our now severely depleted funds and set out for Germany. We arrived in Frankfurt 2 weeks later with £5 between us. Found work washing up in a large hotel, was supplied with digs in the middle of the red light district, and set about getting to know the locals. Unfortunately, Stuart's idea of getting to know the locals after he's had one too many, as I'm sure some of you will know, is to tell them he loves them. In English. Which didn't go down too well with one rather large mustachioed homophobic German bloke who thought Stuart had taken a fancy to him. Having priced them apart before any serious damage were done, we scarpered to savour some of Frankfurt's other delights, proudly showing off our mastery of the German language with the only words we knew, Zwei Bier bitte. It wasn't long before we realised that if we didn't get back soon, we'd be late for work. And having no idea where we were, staggered off in a direction we discovered later to be completely the opposite of right. I, slightly worse for wear, played the supporting role, literally. As we meandered along, I became aware that everyone we passed was giving us very strange looks. I put it down to Stuart's bright red hennaed eyebrows. After a while, people began to point and talking gobbledygook at us. I looked down. Stuart's trousers were around his knees. This isn't good, I thought. I'll never get him home like this without getting arrested. I tried to pull up his jeans and hold him upright at the same time, but it was useless.
That was the case with the defence.
Desperately, I looked around. A parking meter caught my eye. I dragged Stuart to it, propped him up against it, and tried to pull his trousers up. His legs kept giving way, so in the end, hinged onto the meter with my chest and his back. Needless to say, the early morning traffic ground to a halt before we heard the sirens. The ambulance took us to hospital. Stuart had his stomach pumped and was given medication. I wasn't so lucky. I got the hangover. Stuart's dad phoned me last week to make sure I had enough material for his speech. I had phoned him before and spoke to his mum Sadie, who couldn't think of anything less Stewie had done.
It was all your fault, Neil.
I think I've covered this.
But Derek wanted me to mention something that has obviously been niggling him for years. Stuart's dog, Jenna. Actually, when I say Stuart's dog, that's a bit generous. Stuart only looked after him for 2 years, and then with his usual generous nature, let Derek and Sadie look after him for the next 11. But you might think that's not much of a problem. But if you've ever had a slobbering 8-stone animal with a severe flatulence problem, in 1 minute, you'd understand why Derek still can't bear to shut the windows. Today is one of the few occasions you'll see Stuart smartly turned out. The fashion disasters are too many to recall. But to give you an idea, this photograph. Do you really? Hold on.
Did you nick it, Stuart?
This photograph.
Hey!
Which one?
Ready to go for quiet time.
Which one, Stuart?